That's a fact. And the Bible leaves all of that out so they could control. That's why they don't want them to know those historical timelines or go pick up that data, because it's going to supersede what the book is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like even the flood story, they say it was a great flood, but there's no evidence that flood happened
that's
completely
correct.
over the world, right?
That's correct. You are correct.
The same time they was having a flood story, the Mayans were living and thriving. They didn't ever write about a flood, and you got other cultures, matter of fact, that never wrote about that story. So they're just,
Wait, so we all agree?
Yeah, I think we ain't got nobody up here that's saying that they some type of religious person. I don't think.
I thought, that was the dude that dropped. Okay. Because that's why I came up, because somebody was saying
I thought he was going to be good, but he started talking crazy.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know why they do that, man. Everybody could be respectful. But I mean, to be fair though, I didn't think you was in agreement either. That's why I said
no, because I saw that one dude. He was up here swearing at you, and I was like, man, you better stop acting a fool so I can actually debate you. And then he got kicked out.
Man, I will tell y'all to kick him, man.
Yeah, they just gonna go to scriptures, man. As soon as you start pulling out biology and science, they gonna go to Matthew. I'm like, man, they don't, Then you gotta basically tug of war with them inside their own book and discredit them. So it'd be like, whoa.
You
gotta ask them how much they believe their own book, like how much they actually believe happened. Most of them have to talk about the resurrection, and I'm gonna tell you that shit did not happen.
No, man. And then even if let's just say it did happen. It's only a story.
I'm a Bible believer.
It's only a story of a Hebrew people, though. It's not the story of the entire world, and that's where they get things wrong at. Even if it's real, let's just give it that. It's only about the Hebrews.
I really enjoy
Jewish people only believe in what? The first 5 books of the Bible, which is the Torah. And if Jesus was a Jew, why the Jews don't believe in him as being the Messiah?
Nerdy, what's your name?
Hey,
how about fasting?
Nerdy Dad. Nerdy Dad. What's up, guys? I really
just so everybody knows, we are streaming live on YouTube. So if anybody wants to go watch this playback later, make sure you subscribe. YouTube.com/ Titans Debate League. Again, at Titans Debate League.
Oh, Titans. Okay.
So I wanted to point out one thing. You're like, oh, well, those who believe the Bible are going to go run back to Scripture, and then it's like a debate in Scripture. Well, it's kind of, in order to have a debate, you have to at least agree on a source of data and to have a debate. So that wouldn't be accurate. And I myself was kind of on the other side of the fence. But I might employ you guys, if you haven't heard of him. There was this gentleman by the name of Karl Baugh, Baugh, and he is a rogue scholar. He is highly decorated in his scientific degrees, biological, anthropology, geology, huge. He was actually on the other side of the fence in terms of supporting evolution with science. And what he found was exactly the opposite. And it's a very interesting, as an open mind, which I highly value you guys, keeping that open mind and remaining respectful. But he done the same thing. And he actually created videos that rely on nothing but the scientific community and science without referencing any part of the scriptural part of it, right? Mm-hmm. No Bible, no nothing. And I want to give you one example. The sedimentary layers are often depicted as, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe about 1 to 2 million years, even more, in separation. So if you see a layer of 3 different sedimentary layers, you're talking about anywhere from 3 to 6 million years of time elapsed between them, right? Do we agree on that same understanding of sedimentary layers?
I do agree on some of what you're saying as far as, how they go in the Grand Canyon and they can see the water lines and how long it's been. So I totally understand where you're coming from on that.
Well, and that's the general consensus in the scientific community, and I can actually pull it up.
It could be far more than 3 million years. Like
and So yeah, with that being said, we agree that we can at least agree that it is like 1 million years plus, right?
No. I would just, so I'm an anthropologist, and so I actually, do this. I do work at dig sites here in California, and there is no uniform sedimentary layer where you could say like all stratigraphy is, 2 million years or 3 million years. I mean, I just worked at a dig site where there's an ash layer that was created, and it had to have only been, it was created within 5,000-6,000 years after a volcano eruption. And then it moves right to the next sedimentary layer. There is no uniformity to that. And like any archaeologist or geologist who tells you that, you need to be skeptical of immediately, because you need
to understand that they're a charlatan.
There's so many variables to sedimentary layers and deep time that to make like a statement like that is honestly negligent. It's like scientifically negligent.
So so you couldn't make. It's like you can't make a statement about any uniformity of any sedimentary layers because there is none.
So it's local, right? So like your sedimentary layer, it's always going to be local. Like if I took a sedimentary layer, even if I took like a sedimentary layer from one coast, like if I use the east coast of the United States as a reference, and then I took a matching sedimentary layer that looks like it's matching on the other side when the continents were together, there are so many things that could have happened and altered those sedimentary layers with their time apart. Right? Your time kind of expands and compresses, and you wouldn't be able to make that statement. And in fact, there are it's probably one of the number one ways that people try to debunk archaeology, paleontology, and geology is trying to make a uniform statement about sedimentary layers. And that's just not what we do. A lot of fine tuning and localization when we're dating stuff this way, because we know that it can be off by a lot.
Well, no, I appreciate that weigh-in from somebody who's actually doing that. Thank you. I appreciate
from
that.
An actual scientist. Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah. Thank you for that. But I wanted to point out it's interesting in those who are willing to exercise what we think we believe. And I myself, I do that nearly every day. I have my beliefs. I have my reasons why, but my reasons why are scientific, if you will. Depends on who you subscribe to, of course, because if we subscribe to the general scientific view and what's pushed out as far as millions or billions of years old and this and that, then we're going to come to a different
What do you mean
conclusion.
millions or billions of years? The Earth is 4.54 billions of years old, 50 million years, give or change. So
but that's just a hypothesis, right?
It's not a hypothesis, though. It's how old the Earth is.
Well, what's dating? Right. Well, exactly my point. So which dating
uranium?
method?
We date the uranium in anthropologists. If I'm wrong, correct me here.
But what's the half-life of uranium?
The specific uranium isotope that they use to date the Earth, I don't know, but it has to be billions of years. I would imagine.
You should take that number as face value, maybe just.
But yeah, and when you do math,
we use zircon crystals, so we use like a uranium.
That's what
lead.
I was going to say. Yes.
Yeah. So we use uranium lead. It honestly depends too. So like if I'm trying to figure out if I'm using like ocean floor, let's say like I'm dating the ocean floor to figure out how old the Earth is, and we've done like a deep core pull from like the crust, right, oceanic crust. I could use potassium argon, right? I could use that to date igneous rocks, right? That's a very valid way.
Ice sheets. I seen one that was in Antarctica doing kind of what you're saying, where they was pulling the ice.
So when we're doing ice core dating, ice core dating is really interesting because actually we're using ice core to extrapolate what the atmosphere was like. It's not necessarily going to tell you like how old the Earth is, but like based on oxygen isotopes, I could tell you how rich the oxygen was in the atmosphere, whether it's like oxygen 18 or oxygen 16. That could tell you things about the water cycle. That could tell you things about the hydrology.
They was in Antarctica. They was about 3 miles down, pulling stuff out, talking about lakes and everything.
Well, my point was just, like referencing scientific information. If any of you are ever, want to exercise that from a man that come from a strict scientific community,
right? But you can't point to that's a blind argument from authority right there. It's just saying go watch these videos from this one scientist that says that all of these scientists are wrong about evolution.
If you would let me continue, sir. I didn't.
Bro, you're a fucking nigger. Shut the fuck up.
Oh God. No, what I'm saying, Jazz, is that I'm not saying go listen to this one man, because
I'm gay.
What he actually does is exactly the opposite of what you said so far. What he does is use all of the sources from science, not just himself.
No, I know what you're saying, and there are.
So this is from the same community that says that
there are a handful of people who do that. Yes.
Yeah, but this is from the same.
Can I speak to this?
Yes.
It's from the same. It's from the same people that are making these discoveries in archaeology. It's from the same scientists that claim this and that. So it's not just one-sided as you think it is. That's why I say go at it with an open mind and challenge what you think you already know, right?
So this is something that I cover in my Ant 101 class, right? When I'm teaching as a grad student, right? I'm teaching these kids on how to think critically and how to engage with anthropology and geology responsibly, right? And we bump into this all the time. This guy was an anthropologist. This guy was a geologist. And now he's an apologist, and he's using what you taught to say the opposite of what the core curriculum is guiding us towards, right? The critical thinking that we're guiding towards. The issue with this is that you are now assuming that because he's using terms and that he is publishing papers with these scientific terms, that the community does not have an issue with this. Whether it's like David Hitchens, whether it's like any of these guys who are apologists, you pull a paper up, I can tell you exactly how they are fudging numbers. I can tell you how they're ignoring biases, and I can tell you exactly how they're not calibrating things correctly. Like, if you can,
everybody's
biased. What was it? Well,
everybody's biased. Even you are biased, right?
Yes, right. But here's the thing, though. You can have a bias that's moving towards like the discipline, right? Like if you're biased towards your discipline, like as an anthropologist, I'm biased towards my discipline in a way where like, unless I have like multiple layers of verifying facts, I can't date something, right? And I won't date something. That's a bias that I have, right? Other types of biases would be like the fossil record bias. I could say, well, I don't know if a creature like this existed because I'm not seeing it much in the record. That doesn't mean it didn't exist. There can be a fossil bias, right? What this guy does is that he takes, and what, not, I'm not saying this guy, what exactly was this guy's name again? By the way, just so I can pull up a paper. I want to pull up a paper to show an example because I can probably, what's the name?
His name's Carl Baugh, B-A-U-G-H.
He reminds me of like the Stephen Meyer type people.
I know, but what I'm saying is that you're writing it off already because of.
Do you know who Stephen Meyer is?
No, I don't.
Well, I imagine he's a lot like this guy.
Well, right. So you're judging without even knowing a single thing.
Right, but I've just seen so many people like this, so many charlatans.
So everybody's like that.
And if you tell me that there's like some scientist who says that evolution is wrong, I'm going to assume that guy's a fraud because evolution is wrong.
So I'm already looking up his publication history. He has no degrees from any accredited university or training program. Actually, I do know one of the things that this is funny, we actually do cover the Delk print. The Delk print is something that can't be verified by any strata whatsoever. And this is the guy that say that he found these footprints and dated them without any verifiable like cross-referential like data whatsoever. He didn't use any type of dating method and strictly said strata. And then when people tried to ask him to extrapolate on strata, he couldn't do it.
Right. So I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on a second. I'm going to tell you right now that if you have 10 seconds to research somebody who wrote an article about a man on what he did?
No, but you just spent 10 minutes
claiming he was come to that conclusion.
That wasn't an article. No, that wasn't an article.
So you've extrapolated all that data from reading source data.
I just pulled up his publication history. His publication history with his DOI number, his research number, has his degrees from 3 unaccredited universities. And then he has the Delk print. And as an anthropologist, a lot of people are familiar with the Delk print. The Delk print was like a really big issue when it came to anthropology and apologetics. I just didn't put the name together.
Okay.
But the guy that this is publishing as an unaccredited quote unquote PhD, that's already setting off alarm bells.
Okay, backyard.
Because now I have to ask.
Okay.
Sorry.
From all that you said, and from your studies and your job, what is your belief? Or are you an atheist or you a believer? And then I'll let you go back to what this is doing.
So I am, I guess, like as far as Christianity goes, I'm a non-believer. I have a more nuanced idea of like spirituality that I don't think really fits with, your theism.
Okay.
So yeah.
And Nerdy,
Backyard, how do I contact you?
Nerdy never said his position though.
Hold on, Outlaw.
He said he was a Bible believer.
How do I contact you for an interview?
Just give me you can just I'll add you and then you can
live on YouTube right now.
I'll add you and then I can message you and then we can talk about that.
Okay, appreciate you. And we are streaming live on YouTube right now. Titans Debate League on YouTube. Go ahead and give us a subscribe if you want to check this out later. Back to you, gentlemen. And I do want to pass it around. We have some new people on the panel. So if you guys can land your plane and we can get some other people involved. Actually, real quick, before you guys go, let's start at the bottom. Vanna Paul, did you have any comments or questions on anything you've heard so far? Anybody on the bottom? Somebody can come off mute. I saw Stooks was trying to come off mute.
I think that belief in God is the most rational and logical thing that you could do in life.
Okay. Any comments or questions on anything that Backyard and Outlaw were talking about?
I had kind of got here between the middle of the conversation, so I didn't really got questions for them. It was just more so when Backyard said that he has a more spiritual position on life rather than what the Christian guy. I want to explore that. What does that mean?
Yeah, so I'm a bit of a material optimist, right? So I believe metaphysical objects exist. I believe numbers exist, right? I believe that these things exist outside of the physical realm and they interact with the physical, right? Even though the number pi isn't a physical thing, I believe that there is kind of like a sophist would be kind of. I believe there is a realm of metaphysical concepts. I don't think that necessarily means there has to be a creator God. I believe in an infinite regression. I don't think that an infinite regression is illogical. And I think that any larger, wider meaning is something that we simply would not be able to access here, right? I can't, other than show you an analog of what pi is, I wouldn't be able to show you what God is. I wouldn't be able to show you what the purpose behind metaphysical objects are. It's it's unknowable, right? It's unprobable. And so I assume that something like it exists, but I can't confirm that it exists. So I don't take a hard stance on it when it comes to specific religions. I think that that's unfair to a lot of people. But I do believe, though, that it isn't irrational to believe in God. I believe we're all trapped in what's called Agrippa's trilemma. I don't know if anyone here has heard of Agrippa's trilemma, but we're all kind of stuck.
I haven't. Can you actually break that down? Because that's
I'm about to say, could you? Yeah, that's the first
thing. And shout out Nefertali on the YouTube right now. I see you in the comments, sis. Hope you're having a good day. So can you break that down to me, Backyard?
Yeah, so pretty much Agrippa's trilemma states that no matter what your belief is, whether you're a scientist, whether you're a philosopher, you're going to fall into one of these three main kind of categories when we kind of get to the end of your logical explanation. You're either going to run into an infinite regress, you're either going to run into circular reasoning, or you're going to run into a dogmatic assertion. So for me as a scientist, I have dogmatic assertions about the universe. Like I have to assume that all elements act the same everywhere. I have to assume the laws of physics are the same everywhere all the time, right? That's dogmatic. And I have to accept that when I try to explain something about science, that in and of itself is irrational, right?
Can I disprove some of your assertions, sir? Will you give me a chance to disprove some of your assertions?
What assertions did I make?
One assertion that you can categorize people into boxes. That
I never
is
made that
wrong.
assertion.
You just said that you have to be one of three categories: a scientist.
No, I said
You're taking it in the wrong way.
I said that your argument, like no matter what your arguments are for like reasoning or logic or anything, try to explain anything.
That is a statement I don't agree with. I'm just telling you, because somebody said it doesn't have to be the truth. We have to argue and prove it here right now.
Which of these 3 points of Agrippa's trilemma do you not agree with?
So what I'm saying is that a person can be anything he wants to be. He can mix and match little bit of philosophy, little bit of religion.
This isn't a statement about you as a person. This is a statement about your logical reasoning.
Anybody can do it.
You're making.
Talking about how you
are cutting me. Please let me finish.
I'm not talking about you as a person. I'm not talking about
you
you as
are
a person.
cutting
I'm
me
talking
off.
about
how you argue.
You are cutting me
how
off.
you rationalize things.
You are cutting me off. Let me finish.
because you're stating my argument incorrectly.
Can you not cut me off so that I can disprove you?
Let's let Unconditional Love land this plane, and then let's let Backyard respond. Go ahead, Unconditional Love.
Thank you very much. See,
and can you end it with I believe, so they know when they can go?
Thank you. I believe like we are like computer programs. That's how we operate. I believe that. And yeah, I can prove it also in the sense that our minds, AI, whatever they're doing right now outside is a reflection of our minds. Whatever they are building outside, I'm a computer programmer, therefore I know, I write programs. I know computer programs are a reflection of the human mind, and they operate, how the human mind operates. They try to do the same thing, and they have been quite successful in having AI do much of human work, including artistic abilities. Well, AI can be artistic and write a poem about just a topic. It's not copying from anybody. It is using its own artistic abilities that it is copying from you. Not the words, but abilities. So it has progressed beyond a certain point. So since we are programs, we can be programmed to do anything we want by ourselves. Therefore, we can do anything we want. We are completely 100% reprogrammable any which way we want. And for that, we need God, because we need some model to use so that we can reprogram ourselves to become that model. That is where we need God. I ran my plane here.
Appreciate you.
So
you.
Yeah, so like you just actually made my point, because first I don't think you saying about the like a value statement about a person. This is every argument you make falls into one of these 3 categories. For instance, you made 2 dogmatic assertions in your argument. One, you said computer minds are analogous, or computers and human minds are analogous. This is just like a self-assertion. I can show you many different reasons why human minds or computers are completely different.
We can debate on this.
And then
it's not dogmatic. I have a proof. I have proof. I have theory. I have a thesis for this. It's not dogmatic assertion. I have a thesis.
Because every thesis.
He's a programmer.
Thesis is not dogmatic.
No, but so this
thesis means it is not dogmatic.
Well, we know that.
Why? So why is it that? Hey guys, can I speak? Right? I'm trying to talk about this. So like,
you are making a dogmatic assertion that my assertion is dogmatic.
And here we go.
For you to land your plane. Let's all show him the same respect. Backyard, it's on you again. My apologies about that.
Right. No, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah. Every argument, no matter what argument you make, creates like dogmatic assertions, because you have to run up against a brute fact. And how do you know you've run up against a brute fact without making a dogmatic assertion?
Can you write a thesis? Can you write a thesis? Can you prove it?
Even with theses, right? Unconditional love. Even with a thesis, right? Like a dogmatic assertion that the laws of physics are uniform everywhere, all the time, all at once. Even though we have theses written about this, we know that it's a dogmatic assertion. There's no way to probe everywhere, all at once, all the time, in all the rules of physics.
No,
we simply don't. We make hey, unconditional love, dude. If we're gonna do this in good faith,
you, sir. I don't agree with you.
Okay,
that's fine.
Unconditional love. Can you please let him say I land my plane before you people jump in, please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I will do that.
You can
We have
you
people on
can
YouTube
create
watching, and we want them to be able to learn from both of you, gentlemen, not just one.
right. You can make an assertion, right? You can make an assertion. We all make assertions. We all make like a dogmatic preposition that starts out a thesis, right? A thesis statement is simply a statement of things that you think are going to happen. You create an experiment. You go through like all of the motions, and then you find out things along the way. But ultimately, you're always going to have a backstop of, I have to assume this is a brute fact. Like with the laws of physics, I have to assume it's a brute fact. I have no real way of probing that it is a brute uniform fact, right? That is the point of Agrippa's trilemma, right? And the same thing with God,
Can
right?
we have a time limit?
When you say,
to
like, when you
arguments,
say,
please, post?
Yes, after he finishes, because I didn't give you
because
one.
he's
After
talking
this
forever.
round-
I don't know how long I have to wait.
After this round, I'll pull out a timer for you. I got you.
Okay, thank you.
But I didn't give you one, so I'm not going to give him one on his first one.
Patience
Then I do
is
want
a
to,
virtue, my
GD and
friend.
Capone did have a
Patience is
comment. I want him to go after the backyard, and then we're going to come back to you on conditional love.
I mean, even an argument for God, right? Like arguments for God are circular reasoning and they have infinite regress built into them. Like, and that's the point, right? No matter who you are when you're making an argument, you're going to bump into one of these three principles. It's either going to be circular, it's either going to be an infinite regress like God, or you're going to bump into what I was saying before, right? And you're going to end up having to have a dogmatic assertion about your beliefs, right? Like saying that you know that saying that your God is the God is a dogmatic assertion.
Okay, everything can be proved and disproved. Okay. For example, if you want to put an assertion and call it a dogmatic assertion, then there is such a thing called burden of proof. So the person who makes certain assumptions will have to bear the burden of proof. For example, if I say there is a yellow unicorn, there's a pink unicorn in my basement. If I say that statement and I am true, I have to prove it. Burden of proof is on me, not on you. You can always say, sorry, I'm not going to believe you. Burden of proof is on me to say that. So when you say making such assertions, stating that this is this, this is that, this is that, then burden of proof is on you. So you have to prove it also that it has to be either this, that, or three. You said it has to be either a 1, 2, or 3. Then you have to say examples of 1, 2, and 3. Then give me a chance to give you a fourth type which does not fall into 1, 2, or 3. If I provide one for you, I have proved you wrong. If I can't provide one for you, you are right. That is how we'll prove this one. So let's get started. Come on back, Jack. You said it's one of
Yeah,
1, 2, or
yeah.
3.
So give me a philosophical or scientific argument that doesn't rely on a dogmatic assertion, circular reasoning, or an infinite regress. It could be philosophical or scientific.
My name is Krish.
Philosophical or
My name is
scientific
Krish. It's not
assertion.
philosophical, it's not scientific, it's not dogmatic. It's just a statement.
Yeah, but that would be philosophical, right? Because
That's not philosophical, man.
that's what you believe, right?
I mean, that's not philosophical. You want to call it, I mean, everything we can call philosophical then.
So what if I
Any
call
statement is
somebody
philosophical.
You have to be able to let people respond.
Hey,
to,
unconditional love. I don't think you even understand like what Agrippa's trilemma is. I don't think you
Dude, I
understand
don't know who
what
Agrippa
saying.
is. I don't give a
real
shit
quick.
about him. I don't care about Agrippa. He's some dude
Unconditional love.
who's
Hold
doing
on.
something.
Can I talk
GD,
about y'all?
I don't have to give a shit about him.
Stooks to go. Let's let everybody else get a chance to respond. GD and Capone, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'll be brief. No one is saying anybody's God is right. You asserted that. He wasn't saying that his God is right, but he's saying that there is a creator. It don't have to be his God. It don't have to be your God, but there is a designer of it all, because the universe is designed. You are designed. You came from two individuals, right? Which gave you your genetic code, and which came from two other individuals, and so forth, and so on, right? So in the part that he mentioned about the computer programming is that's not an assertion. It's almost a fact, because we know computers communicate through code. Our DNA code is what allows us to communicate, right? So in the whole process of our biological makeup, but I'll land with this. Like I said, no one God is true, right? But there is a God. The true God will be the one that's hidden, that's unseen, and man can't comprehend it. If you can't comprehend it, that's God. Why? Because it's a higher intelligence than your intelligence, and it's as far as the scaling to be from the earth to the sky. That's how much. That's why we can't comprehend it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever energy power source that is, that's what God will be. Yeah, right there.
I agree somewhat. Backyard. I understand what you're trying to say, and I somewhat agree to what you're trying to say. Like, I get like the basis of reasoning and the basis of, you know, what you were trying to say. I can't really say that word right now, but I do understand what unconditional love is trying to say, where that person who does say something is burdened with the act of showing truth, the act of showing that it is true. And my thing towards that is, I have a question for you. Is life imperfect? I would like you to answer that question before I proceed.
Oh, what was the question?
Is life imperfect?
Yes.
How do you know that? Where's perfect at? If all of life is imperfect, where is perfection?
So I would say perfection in a biological system, or any system really, would be a system that moves 100% efficiently and does not need to change.
But like, where in life does perfect exist? Because you said in life, there's nothing that is perfect. So that means that the perfect would have to exist outside of our lifetime, outside of the universe, right?
No, that doesn't follow. Just because life isn't perfect doesn't mean that there is perfection elsewhere.
But you can't have imperfect without having perfect. You can't have north without having south. You can't have west without having east. They're polar opposites. So you can't say something imperfect if perfection doesn't exist.
So again,
everybody, we are streaming live on YouTube.
I'm a fucking nigger.
Go subscribe to the YouTube channel.
I'm a fucking nigger. Hey.
I don't know what this guy is saying. He's out of here. Don't worry about that. Yeah, go subscribe to the YouTube at Titans Debate League on YouTube. You can put this on the big screen right now and watch it if you want. And you can go back and catch the replay later at Titans Debate League on YouTube. Back to you, gentlemen. And double tap that screen for me. Let's get these hearts up.
I am a nigger.
If you need my help,
so let me.
I'll mod you. If you need my help, I'll be mine.
I am a nigger.
Shut up, you dumb little shit. Your mother should have followed you.
So let me just address everyone's points just before I get too lost in the weeds. So GD and Cap, right? I get what you're saying, but again, a dogmatic assertion is just an argument that stops at a principle that is simply declared as self-evident or is assumed to be true without proof, right? Just saying God exists, right? No one can prove a God exists. You can assert that he exists. You could have possible evidence that you think points to him as existing, but it's unprobable. It's unknowable, right? It's something that, like, if you were to say to me, hey, I think God exists because X, Y, and Z, it's going to be faith-based. And that's okay. Like, this isn't a value judgment on that.
The question is not whether God exists.
Just let him talk. Please, unconditional. Just please let him talk.
Yeah, unconditional.
I want to make one statement that is shut up. Only one statement. I'm going to shut up after that. The question I want to reiterate the main question. Is the belief in God rational, or is atheism the more rational option? So you have to prove that atheism is more rational, not
unconditional.
That proving God is irrational.
Unconditional. You came in last minute. You didn't hear any of the things that I've said. I'm not saying that believing is irrational. I quite literally said at the very beginning of this, I think that they both hold the same amount of weight. And that's when I went into Agrippa's trilemma. I said the empiricist, like me, a scientist, I have to make dogmatic assertions, just like someone who is religious makes dogmatic assertions. We're all kind of trapped in a net of these three assertions. I could sit here and say, as a scientist,
yes, I agree,
that I know something.
I agree to the statement. Can I add you one? Then I want to say, can I add a tiebreaker to this? can we have a tiebreaker?
Well, I'm not arguing. I'm just explaining
No, I'm
things to
asking
people,
you a
dude. I'm
question.
not arguing.
No,
I'm not arguing with anybody, man.
I'm not arguing. Asking you a question.
Well, hold on. I have to get to the NC. No, because CNB Stooks asked me a question, dude. I have to address people one at a time.
We can not later on. That's fine.
We're going to come to you.
So Stooks, what was? So what were you? So what were you? So okay. Oh, you were talking about how like if there's imperfections.
Again?
No. So
Okay.
let me just say let me see if I remember what you're saying correctly. So you're saying that because imperfection exists, that perfection has to exist. That's kind of like what you're saying. There's always kind of this polar opposite. Here's the thing. I'm not sure if that's true, right? Because let's think of existence and non-existence. Do you think non-existence is possible?
No.
No.
I don't think non-existence is possible.
Right, but existence exists, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like not everything has to have like a conceptual polar opposite.
But hold on. I'm not saying that
can go out of
guys,
existence.
unconditional, please.
You can exist and not exist. Both exist.
So when you talk about
non-existence is possible.
No, guys.
Non-existence exists. That is a
when we're talking about
Y'all are speaking like it's like a dog.
Backyard. If I'm gonna
Like
follow
dog.
you, I would like to have a genuine conversation with you without having to talk over people. So I'm just gonna follow you. And
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just followed you. No, so when we're talking about non-existence, we're talking about
follow me as well, Backyard?
Yeah, I followed you too.
Appreciate you. I'm trying to get a personal one-on-one interview with you on the YouTube page.
Yeah.
Anything that is a word exists. Anything that is a word exists in our minds, at least. Period.
Yeah, but then the concept of non-existence is just a concept, right? But what we're talking about is like
A concept is still something that exists.
Yeah, but
No.
you're saying that numbers, imaginary numbers,
Form is
you
concept,
believe in
not
imaginary
material, but form is
numbers,
concept. It still
certain
exists.
symbols and certain mathematical truths. You say you believe in all that, but there's no proof that that stuff actually exists.
English word exists, so that's the proof.
I can prove that metaphysical objects exist.
I mean, in this universe, right?
Yeah,
Do
we
you
can.
have something-
Yes,
the English
we
word,
can
if it
have
exists,
proofs. We have
isn't
proofs
that
that metaphysical.
it exists?
If it's a collective understanding, it does exist.
Yeah, we have we can do a proof about a metaphysical object actually having influence and existing in the world. I mean, that's literally what pi is.
If
right?
we know of it, it is there.
Right, exactly. Like we find mathematical structures that directly influence the material world and can't be broken.
That's what
So
manifestation
you're talking
in a
about
nutshell.
the symbol. I'm talking about the actual symbol. Where the symbol come from?
Well, the symbol comes from you, but we're not talking about the symbol. We're talking about the metaphysical object.
A symbol
It's like-
represents something
Right,
in your mind.
the symbol is metaphysical. I'm letting you know that. That's what it is. That's where they get it from. They read the
What does metaphysical mean to you?
beyond. It means beyond physics. So it's beyond the physical realm.
Okay, and what do you put in the category of metaphysical?
Well, he just explained numbers.
No, I'm not asking.
Well,
about
no.
him. I'm talking about
The
you.
actual symbol is called No. The symbols are not metaphysical. Symbols are iconographic. So you take a metaphysical object in your mind, right? You have a concept in your mind, and you need an analog in the material world. So you create icons. So when you look at the number 2, the number 2 is the icon of the metaphysical 2,
Being,
right?
yeah.
They're not the same thing.
Right, but where does the concept come from to write the number 2? They had to see
It's
it
because
from
we're
somewhere.
only human can only put it into so much understanding, but we only understand the symbol because of somebody help me out.
Right.
You guys have a lot better words than I do.
So the metaphysical object too, right? Like it is something that we have to observe with our reality, and unfortunately, we have to rely on our senses, right? So I could have 1 or 2 objects. I could use the unit of 2 to describe 2 liters of a thing, right? But ultimately, the metaphysical, the origin, just like God, right? The origin of a metaphysical object is something that I can't probe. right? It is unreachable as a metaphysical object.
You're just
The
basically
only
saying
thing-
that there is no framework for it, right?
So you can use the cross as an
I mean, because when you say
example. It does
medical
not
physical
mean anything
objects,
to the you can use the cross as an understanding. You don't understand that. Yeah.
yeah, but there's different characteristics to the metaphysical objects, though, right? You got non-physical nature. You got what they call the other one, ontological independence. So there's different variations of the metaphysical object, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
There has to be, because that's exactly correct. Actually, there isn't an understanding of more than one understanding of the thing.
Blackbird, can I
So
ask
it
you a
is
question
true.
here? I want to ask you a question about your belief. You said you don't believe in God. Now, can I ask you a question? Is there any real benefit in not believing in a God? What is the real benefit? What is it you got to lose in believing in God? Is that something you lose by believing in a God?
I don't believe that I don't think that there's anything that like I lose by believing in God. And I do believe that there's things that people gain from believing in God. I don't think that believing in God is a negative thing. And I don't think it's a negative thing if you don't believe in him. I think it really is based on how you're socialized and how you have that relationship with that deity or religion, right? So for me, I don't think it's beneficial necessarily to believe in God. I grew up in a secular household by two people who were involved heavily in the civil rights movement. I learned my morals and my ethics from them, and we didn't go to church. So a lot of the things that I believe, a lot of the things that I want to move forward and help my community with don't necessarily originate from a faith, right?
My friend, all right, I'm going to ask you a question here. That I was question. So if I give you a lottery ticket for free, with a real chance of winning, why would you say no to it?
Why would I say no to it? So in this situation, right, like I know for a fact that the lottery exists.
Let me ask you a question once again.
Let me answer your first.
I want to state it once again so I get clear about it. I want to be double clear about my question. So we're all clear about it. That's only for double clarity. It's a lottery ticket for free. It's a lottery ticket for free with real chances of winning, just like a real lottery ticket right now. One guy in 1,000 will win. Only one guy in 1,000 will win. But somebody is telling you this is a lottery ticket, draw is tonight. I'm giving it to you. Will you say, no, you keep it?
Yeah, I already know the analogy. So again, let me answer. You did the double clarification, didn't add to the argument. So again, I live in a world in which I've seen people win the lottery. I live in a world in which lottery ticket winners are on the internet. We see the goods and the bads of it, right? But, right, this isn't analogous because I don't assert or assume that the spiritual lottery of your God exists.
I understand. You don't want to be a lottery winner and you think it will corrupt you morally. I understand. So why not you take that lottery ticket from that guy for free and sell it to somebody for $1?
But
can you do that?
But what if
can you do that?
Already not a gambler?
Unconditional love. Unconditional love.
Can you do that?
You're forcing me into a false dichotomy. This is
no. The point is that you're getting something for nothing.
And
you want to give all the wrong reasons why nothing for nothing is wrong.
This is a false
what if he
dichotomy.
wasn't a gambler? I mean, to begin with, like
one mic. Go ahead, though.
It's costing you nothing. That's the most important thing. It costs you nothing, but you can get something, and you want to say that is the most logical choice. Sorry, sir, it's not the most logical choice.
I never said it was the most logical choice.
No,
I've never
I'm just
made the
telling you it is
argument.
not the most logical choice. I'm telling you it is not the most logical choice. I'm winning this argument here right now.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm
just winning the argument. I'm just saying I'm winning the argument.
It shouldn't be an argument. It should be a healthy dialogue.
No. This is a question out there. I'm giving an answer with proof.
Here, okay?
Well, you're not letting me answer. You're not unconditional love. You're not letting me answer. Because one, what you've asserted,
I love your passion, but you gotta let him finish. He let you land your plane, and he did not interrupt you not one time when you were speaking. And he tries not to interrupt you whenever you do start to speak. But you're not giving him a chance to even answer your full question fully, and you're not giving him a chance to land his plane. I love your passion and conditional love. I really do. But at least let him land his plane and then respond, because it's getting a little hard to keep track of the conversation because you keep interrupting him. So I'm getting a little confused, and I'm up here on what question you're asking him and what question he's answering. He's backed up on about 3 or 4 questions that you've already answered or asked him, and he's still trying to answer. We love your passion. Just kind of like let him get his point out before you interrupt. If you can't contain yourself, just put yourself on mute until he says, "I land my plane." Just out of respect, just so we can all follow the conversation and understand what's going on with the dialogue.
Setting ever tells you,
and remember, I appreciate you, Karma. And remember, if someone in an academic setting ever tells you, you love your passion or attributes you to being passionate, it's code word for being too aggressive, and that's what that really means. If your boss tells you that,
but yeah,
he's really passionate. That means you're over aggressive in your job, maybe in job.
She told you being rude.
It's a subtle way to not kill your spirit or unalive your spirit.
She told you were being rude, really respectfully. Shout out to you, Karma. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Backyard, it's on you to respond to unconditional love. And then I do want to pass it around. So if anybody else has anything else after Backyard, jump in, and then unconditional love. Play clean.
So yeah, unconditional love. Like I have an issue with this. I'm not really going to engage with this argument because this is trying to force me into a false dichotomy, right? So again, I live in a world where lottery tickets do exist. Lottery winners do exist. I don't need to make an assertion that lottery ticket winners exist. I lived in my hometown. We had a lottery ticket winner, right? That's the difference. But you are telling me to make a blind gamble, right? You're trying to tell me that I should participate in a raffle or a lottery that I'm not even sure is real. That's the difference, right? And so like, if you can come up with any other analogy that's not a false dichotomy in which you force me into making and conceding a concession, right? Because you're telling me that like, there is a real chance that I could go to heaven with this faith without demonstrating in reality that there is a real chance, the same way there is a real chance of me winning a lottery. Like this is like a telltale symptom of false dichotomous thinking.
For now.
Yep.
Thank you. See, I am not forcing you into anything. Once again, this is based on what you said earlier. You said of your own words that you do believe that there are people who have benefited from God. You said that. So therefore, you ordinarily agreed there are real benefits. Possibility of real benefits is real. We started with that assumption. That assumption is what I'm building on. If possibilities of real results is real, it makes it a lottery ticket. Therefore,
right, so you got confused about what I said. Let me clarify what I said because you.
Okay, you have let me land my plane, sir. Please, you're the one who's. Okay, what I'm saying is that, therefore, it makes it a lottery ticket because when anything is given, your piece of paper is given to you and says, the chances of winning something out of it is real, but you may or may not win. That is a lottery ticket, and every lottery ticket, if the winning real has got some value. Lottery ticket also has a fraction of that value depending on the odds. But it still has a non-zero value. The word I would call it non-zero, is greater than zero. So when somebody gives you in a box and says, there is some money inside it, I don't know how much. You want to take it, you can take it. Are you going to say no?
Yeah, so unconditional, I'm going to clarify because like you did not listen. This is the second time you haven't listened to like my full argument and then you've put words in my mouth. I specifically said at the very beginning.
Forget the rest. Forget the rest.
No. I'm trying to show like why this
that's
is
real value is my point. You say there's no real value. I'm saying there's real value.
I didn't say there was no real value. So what I said in the very beginning when I was talking about the value system of religion and why I feel like I don't necessarily benefit from it. I said specifically my morals and values, I got them from my parents. I did not get them from the church. The community work that I do, the education work that I do, the outreach that I do, it's the exact same type of outreach. It's the exact same type of giving back to the community that people in the church do. That's the benefit, right? When people have benefits from religion, when I'm talking about these benefits and what I was talking about.
You land your plane. I'll let you talk. Finish.
Yeah. So again, when I'm talking about the benefits of religion, I'm not talking about like, oh, these people, they're definitely going to go to heaven. I'm talking about the enrichment of the culture that they're in. I'm talking about the community that they build. I'm talking about the connections with the world, engage with it, right? And so for me, I don't necessarily need religion to do that. I've been doing it without religion, right? And you're trying to take it into this place where I'm talking about like some like, you know, some 1600s philosophies, devil's gamble, right? But I reject that because I'm not talking about a spiritual benefit in like a non-corporeal way. I'm talking about it in like a here and now, what you're doing with your community, how it is a positive change and how you work on people. That's what I'm saying, right? And so like,
I think you're answering the wrong question, but I don't want to interrupt you.
I don't need to take a lottery ticket because I'm doing the thing that I would do now.
Sir, you're answering the wrong question. I didn't ask you whether you need it or not. Will you take it or not? Not whether you need to take it or not. Will you take it or not?
It's a false dichotomy. I'm trying to explain how like what you're doing is warping my argument and trying to force me into a false dichotomous thinking.
I definitely feel like we're going around in circles. I definitely feel like that's happening.
Yeah, I think it's been answered on that one.
Yeah, it's going around and around. And
again, all I said is this: you got something in a box that has value. Somebody's giving it to you. You have a choice to say, it is rational for me to take it because I'm going to gain from it. Or you can say it is rational for me to not take it, even though I will get something from it. You decide what rationality is. For me, it is rational to say, I'm going to take it because I'm going to gain something from it, provided there are no conditions attached. That is important. No conditions that I should give something in return or should do something in return. No, I'm just taking the box, money inside, walking away. It's mine. I'm not even going to. All I will say is thank you after I get the money. That's all I need to do. I think that's the most rational decision. But if you think walking away from something of potential value just because of some values that somebody taught you, it is your rationality. You can keep it.
Backyard, I have a few of the scholars off of the YouTube already requesting a sit down with you. It's crazy. If you're not following me on YouTube, make sure you go subscribe. / Titans Debate League on YouTube and all platforms. @ Titans Debate League on all platforms. Go ahead and hit that bell on YouTube so you don't miss anything and you can watch this replay later. I'm about to send that link to you, Yara, right now, so maybe you can speak with Backyard while he's up here. And back to you all.
My brother A1, what's up, brother?
Peace, Sadiq. How you feeling today?
Oh man, pretty good, bro. Just left out of Starbucks, man. Took care of some business, man. I'm open. I'm free, man. I just got to come and touch in with the fam, man. How you been?
I've been good, man. How's your week going? How's your day going?
Pretty good going so far, man. Got some good news a couple of days ago, and so I'm kind of amped about that. Of course,
I'm gonna talk to you in like 2 days.
I know,
I'm gonna
man.
call you after this. I'm gonna call you later. We're gonna catch up.
For sure, bro. For sure.
You any questions, comments, or anything you've heard so far?
Let me see. We got some religious guys and some atheist guys on here today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, man. I guess I just have to jump in wherever. I'll just fall back. I just jumped on. I kind of picked up on some. Record guys, those listening on here. I jump in on the extremes or what I call absolutes. Okay?
What is your
and so whatever we believe in, if you go into what I call a worship, be it if you believe in a God or if you go extreme with the atheism, then I'll jump in. My perspective. How can I say this? The central term to my point of view deals with perspective. Okay. And with that being said, just briefly, I can go into it, I guess, since we're kind of just chilling. what separates everyone on this panel is just a matter of perspective at the end of the day. See? And so other than that, there is no separation, not absolutely, in any regard. Okay? Outside of that. All right? Only if you feel through the ego that is this case, then so be it. I'm not going to argue with you.
Hey, y'all right? I sent the link to your Facebook.
God, is it more rational, or not believing in God is more rational? And I was arguing with the person earlier that believing in God is rational because there is a tangible benefit and you don't have to give anything back in return. It is free.
So I got a question. If you believe in God now, I want to know, what is your God?
My God is something that I can sense. My God is something that I can sense, but I haven't seen it yet.
So is there a specific thing you call your God, or do you just go by it as God?
I call God God. That's it. Simple as
Okay,
that.
and do you read any type of Bibles or any
I have
type
read.
of
I have read a little bit of. I have read a little bit of everything.
Okay.
And I have a general idea about all the books, and I can summarize all of them according to their beliefs. And I see that there are differences in these beliefs amongst various religions.
Okay.
And there are some beliefs that I can't accept because I find them inhumane. Polygamy, for example, is for me inhumane.
Okay.
Therefore, I can accept that as a valid belief.
Could you repeat yourself again? What is it that you said isn't human?
Polygamy.
Okay.
Okay. Well, some religions think that it's God's will, and I would say, sorry, democracy has other plans. So we'll go
So
with
do you
democracy.
consider yourself religious as a person?
I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual.
Okay, so when you're
Spiritual and
spiritual,
religious
do you
something
mean
different.
Do you mean spirituality as in you manifest, as in you meditate, as in you pray?
Listen, religious is if you follow God. Okay, the religious people follow their creator and try to follow his teachings.
Yes.
Spiritual people compete with their creator and want to be better than him.
So don't you think that's blasphemous to want to be better?
That is
than
why
the
I'm not
creator?
religious. That is why I'm not religious. I'm spiritual for that reason only.
Okay, but you said spiritual people.
Spiritual people are blasphemous by nature. By definition, they're blasphemous only.
Yes, that's blasphemous because if you-
Spiritual people are blasphemous people. You can call it that way. Our name is blasphemy. Second name is blasphemy.
Yes, I feel like the spirituality, it has to do with if you are wanting to be better than the one that created you in any way where you think that it's God, Jesus, whatever you thinking, that is blasphemy. Because
You can believe whatever. I can believe whatever, right? That's a different. That's what First Amendment means. We got a First Amendment right exactly for that reason.
I'm not talking about First Amendment and all that.
You are not talking, but I am talking about it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. I thought this was about religion. We can't.
No,
bring
this is
man-made
about
law.
morality. It's also about morality.
Okay, so
you
we're
have to be
not-
moral in your
so we're-
choices.
So we're
you got to
talking
be
about-
moral in your choices. You cannot be tyrannical in your choices and then call yourself moral.
All right. Well, I personally believe you can never be better than the creator that made you. And
Well, you have to prove it then. If you're
Because
making an assertion about me,
the reason I say that
if you
is
are
if you-
making an assertion
if you
about
were-
me,
you-
about
no,
a
I'm not
creator
saying
you and I
you.
have not seen, you better give me good proof.
Okay,
I'm
but
not
Josh,
saying you. Yeah.
but Josh, were you made or born? When you said you can't be, you shouldn't try to be greater than the creator.
At the end of the day, I was made.
You was
Of
made,
course I
not
was-
born.
I was born, of course. I was born through my mom's stomach and stuff coming from my father, but they had to make me. So God had to plan that for me to be made. Do you see what I'm saying? I was, even though it was an accident in any eyes or anything like that, he didn't wear a condom, whoopty whoop. God, your creator. I feel like Jesus Christ is God. He had a plan for me to be on this earth.
So wait, hold up. So you're kind of saying that you believe in the Trinity. You just said Jesus Christ is God.
Yes, I believe in Jesus Christ as God. Yes, I don't. I believe that religion.
You cutting your hair over there?
What the hell is that?
Oh, okay.
That's Black Sage. How you doing, Black Sage? You cutting your hair over there?
Hey, that's not me, bro.
Oh, okay. That sounded like it.
I don't know what that is. I do believe in the Holy
Hey, I'm
Spirit.
gonna mute out and see if you hear it again.
No, I don't hear it no more. You good?
No, I don't hear it.
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. You good?
Hey, well, go ahead, Josh. You were saying what?
Yeah, like I believe, like me, I was a former atheist. I didn't believe in anything. I was deeply into sin. I used to partake in street life. I used to do bad stuff as a person, and I felt like I didn't change as a person until I found Jesus Christ, until I found the Holy Spirit, until I felt the Holy Spirit in my life, and I felt like I was accepted by someone in my life.
Okay, so do you believe that atheists are bad people?
No, I don't believe nobody on this earth is a bad person. I just believe we're lost.
Josh, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you decided that you don't want to be an atheist anymore,
yes.
Why did you pick on Jesus as that God? Why not?
Because
why not any other faith? Why not Allah? Why not say
when I looked
Krishna,
into this,
Buddha?
The reason I felt like Jesus was God was because as a person, I was lost, and I wanted to find I wanted to find a higher being. So I went on a search myself, looking for multiple things. I even read the Bible in disbelief. And it wasn't until I read certain verses that had made me realize that the Bible is like an instruction.
But Josh, if Jesus is God and you said you read the Bible, did Jesus not pray to God in the Bible?
Yes. And Jesus.
So if Jesus prayed to God, how
the way God
himself?
and Jesus work is Jesus is God in human form, but Jesus is still Son of God. Do you get what I'm saying? So they are one.
So before Jesus comes into the book of Matthew, everyone in the Old Testament did not believe in God then, right? Because Jesus didn't exist. Is that what you're saying?
Well, because and before then, the Holy Spirit was speaking to them. Do you see what I'm saying? Which was forming God. Do you see what I'm saying?
But that's not true because Moses spoke to God. Remember, he went on the mountain and God said, "You can't see me."
But did it say that he saw? Did it say that he saw God?
Hold on. If Moses spoke to God and there was no Jesus yet,
yes.
How is Jesus God if Moses spoke to him? See what I'm saying? But I
get what you're saying, and I'm not going to answer nothing that I'm not fully studied into because that's blasphemous. Because I'm just giving you words of my wisdom.
See, my friend, that is the problem. Nothing is blasphemous. Nothing is blasphemous, my friend. Somebody will tell you this is
Ask a
blasphemous.
question when you guys are done. I just had a question for everyone when Unconditional Love was done.
I'm not talking.
Unconditional love. You're all over the place, man. You're just attacking.
I feel like there's no need for me to answer a question like that if I cannot give you a logical answer that's not coming out of my thought. Do you see what I'm saying?
That's respectful. That's respectful.
Josh, just really quick. You say that Jesus is God, like the same person or the same being or whatever. Then how come up on the crucifix he said, "God, oh God, why have you forsaken me?" Why didn't he say, "Me, oh me, why have I forsaken you?"
So the way I look at that is at that moment, Jesus Christ is taking in all our sins, right? So at that moment, Jesus Christ is not that God is mad at him or anything like that, because you got to remember that when Jesus was in the garden, he was so scared. He was so he bled like when he was sweating, it was blood. And if you search it up on Google, when you sweat like that, like it's out of severe anxiety. We have to remember that Jesus was human at the end of the day as much as he was a God. He could do godly things because he is Son of God, but he was a human. He felt
so God as a human will suffer anxiety.
So basically, God is human then, right?
The God as a human will suffer anxiety is what you are saying. I don't believe
in the Bible.
I'm sorry, sir, that's not rational.
Hey, Josh, can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
So and this is for anyone else who is like a Christian. I just want to know your perspective. So in the beginning, you were talking about kind of how spiritual people are blasphemous because it's like trying to be better than the thing that created you. I'm a spiritual person, I'd say. I don't have a hard theistic belief. But for me and my spirituality, I am constantly trying to be better than the standard of society, right? I'm not referencing God. I'm looking at the things around me and I'm like, okay, what does society need? Do we need teachers? Do we need this, that, or the third, whatever? I'm trying to better myself and the people around me. Is that in your Christian framework and me being a spiritual person, do you interpret that as me trying to be better than God?
No, because I interpret you as looking at the world as where it's at right now, where it's honestly in a horrible spot. We live in a horrible age right now, right? It's not a good age. We have a whole bunch of pedophilia. We have a whole bunch of people killing each other. We got brothers killing brothers. We got women killing women. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay to look at yourself and be like, you know what? I want to be better than the world. That's not a problem.
Say unalive. Can we say unalive and try not to use the K word because his life could get dinged for that?
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So we got people unaliving each other and stuff like that. So
don't you think you're being lazy here?
I'm sorry. What?
Let him land this plane
are you getting a
unconditional love,
least
and
bit
then I want to
idea
go
that
to Black
you're being
Sage
lazy?
next. I want to hear from him after Josh. Go ahead, Josh.
So I don't think that's blasphemous to want to be a better person in this world that we live in right now. Like you called me a Christian, right? So in reality right now, I'm actually baptized a Catholic. And I was raised by Jehovah's Witness. And I was raised by Catholics, right? And so I don't partake as much as I should into religion because the way I look at it is when Jesus Christ died, before he died, he said he pointed all the temples that were there. And he said, I'm going to come back and I'm going to build those temples better. So basically what he's saying, he was going to destroy those temples. What happened? We destroyed his temple.
Give you a piece of information here. Josh, can I have a permission to give you a piece of information about the Catholic Church?
Unconditional love. We are going in order. We are going in order, like the host said. Please have respect for that. Please.
So when he came back, yes, he still has scars, but he came back healed, right? So when he came back healed, that's what he's talking about, his temple. Religion is a great thing because of the fact that you want to be surrounded around people that are also believing in what you believe in so that they can help you not have to fall back into the world. You see what I'm saying? So when he says his temple, I look at myself as my temple. When I want to speak to God, I'm going to sit down by myself in a room and I'm going to pray to God because that's what he wants you to do. He wants you to pray. He wants you to have a relationship with you. If I was to feed you guys every Sunday, would you guys be fine? No.
Josh, you just said it though. You said, when I want to talk to God, I sit down to myself and I talk to him, right?
Yes, sir.
So it sounds like you're using a mediator. You're saying that you need a mediator to talk directly to God, or no?
No, I'm saying that I just need to pray. I need to sit down one-on-one with God. I can talk to God. The way I talk, man, people think I'm crazy, man. I'll be driving the car and I'll just have a conversation with God because of the fact that I feel like God is always listening. And so since he's always listening to me, I can have a conversation with him. But when I want to be deep into it, when I'm asking for forgiveness, when I'm falling deep into sin, when I'm falling deep into the world, when I'm doing blasphemous stuff, because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect. So I still sin. I still do wrong. But I know that I have to sit there and take accountability for my sin.
Okay, now when you first heard of sin, did God tell you of sin or did a human being tell you what a sin was?
Honestly, when I first heard of sin, I was reading the Bible and I had heard about sin. And then I went and asked my pastor, what is the big deal about sin? And he had told me something, and he had made me realize that no matter how much times we sin, that doesn't mean God doesn't love us. But if I was to, but the way it is like, okay, I'm a sinner as a person. We're all natural sinners. We don't wake up and sin, but you don't sin until you think about the sin you're going to do, right? I used to smoke a lot of weed. I wouldn't get up with a blunt in my mouth. The way I would
Josh,
get up.
have you read any other book besides the Bible?
Yeah, I read a little bit into the Quran, but even the Quran tells you to go in to read older books, which we're talking about the Older Testament.
So have you completed the Quran after that?
No, I've not completed the Quran after that.
How can you say Bible is correct without reading the Quran?
No, and that's my fault. I have to get deeper.
So right now you're saying Jesus is everything without reading the Quran. So I don't think you are right.
Okay, and that's fine.
I think you haven't read enough.
Backtrack real quick.
I believe.
Backyard, what was your original question?
I'm sorry, what?
What was that? What was that, host?
What was your original question, Backyard?
Yeah, my original question. I asked him
if it was blasphemy to.
It was talking about like as a spiritual person, like if I'm in my spirituality, like I believe a way for me to attain whatever it is I think I'm trying to attain, right? Like I'm just trying to be a better guy. Because he was saying like spiritual people are trying to be better than the thing that created them or whatever. But I think of it as kind of like, I was asking him, so does it mean that because I want to be better for my community, that feeds me spiritually, that feeds them spiritually, am I trying to be better than God by doing that?
See,
I think that that's kind of like a false way.
Hold on, unconditional love. Go ahead, Backyard. Finish.
Right. Yeah, Josh. I'm just explaining back to host because I was just asking because it's like, how can you say that spiritual people are trying to be better than the thing that they created them? When I know a lot of spiritual people who ground their spirituality within their community, right?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like I ground my spirituality in the people around me. Like, how do I nourish the community? I don't necessarily ground it in God. So I'm like, I was just trying to ask, like, how is that blasphemous? And that's when he was kind of saying, like, oh, that's not blasphemous. And then
hold on, I'm gonna respond. And then I want to get. Hold on, I want to go next. I want to go next.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. My fault.
I just wanted him to finish though. You see how I was letting him get it all out. Go ahead, Backyard.
Yeah, and that was it. He answered it. He was saying like, never mind, like that's not blasphemous, and that's when we kind of got into the whole the world is a bad place and we should all want to do better by it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Unconditional love told me that's what spirituality people do. Is that they want to be better. But
I want to hear from Black Sage next.
All right, go ahead.
Hey, peace to the panel, man, and blessings to everyone, man.
Peace, brother.
Who's on here, man. A pretty good conversation that I came upon. Shout out to A1. I appreciate you, man. I love what you're doing, man, and you know, you definitely have my support. I just wanted to say that in regards to spirituality, I'll just give you guys a brief background. I'm not a Christian, but I am what some would call a Hebrew Israelite or an Israelite, just to give you guys some basis of that, my paradigm. But in regards to understanding what the biblical narrative talks about, and I may be a little bit late in the conversation in regards to certain things, I think that a lot of misconceptions that we understand about the Bible, which I view as didactic literature, just as a wisdom text, as you would find in texts in many other cultures. They have their own different literatures and different things like that. That when we talk about religiosity, or we talk about spirituality, that oftentimes those things are simply based on what people view as acts of service. What religion does is really encapsulates that, right? So that's how most people view religion, right? Based on their acts of service. And they attribute those acts of service or those wantonness, oftentimes they attribute that to a deity, right? That it has to be a power higher or above or outside of themselves to want to do acts of service or acts of kindness, and show that to your fellow man. And that somehow humanity in and of itself does not have the ability or the intellect or the wantonness to be fair and loving and kind, you know, to a fellow man, regardless of race or or color or creed or anything of that nature. So when we talk about spirituality, spirituality has to be viewed outside of oneself, right? And the reason why I say that is because I think the brother Backyard, he gave the example, about him being a teacher, and please correct me if I'm wrong, about him being a teacher or someone who's helping out his community. Those things are acts of service. But do those things actually truly define who a person is, right? Simply just based on acts of service. Because if I help an elderly person across the street, or if I see someone who's unhoused on the street and, I buy them something to eat, right? Or I give them $1 or I give them something to eat. Those are acts of service that typically in our standard in society would be acts of kindness, right? Does that equate me to be a person who has a sense of spirituality? Because I could do all of those things, and those things can be seen by individuals. But how then do I define it if I'm performing those acts of kindness and then the very next day, I could be, or in that same day, I could, do something that some people would seem not as an act of kindness, like, not letting someone up in line in front of me, or I might just be a serial killer, but I'm performing acts of kindness as well. So I don't think equating acts with spirituality is what is the litmus test for what a spiritual person is, right? It has to be something that is defined outside of the human element of what we're able to do and what we can just see. We have many teachers or people in positions who people benefit from in society, seemingly so, but we know that behind closed doors, they could be tyrants, they could be monsters. But people view them as sort of spirituals. We sort of have that, right? In sort of these religious sects where, things are done. So I don't think that we can really equate acts of kindness with spirituality. I think it has to be something more, right? That we have to, reach for. So that's all I wanted to just add to that bit of the conversation.
Amazing answer. Double tap that screen, everybody. We just hit 7K. Appreciate everybody. And we are streaming live on YouTube right now. If you want to catch the replay of this, make sure you go subscribe. Titans Debate League on YouTube. Back to you all.
Host, I want to define the concept of blasphemy according to my own words. Can you give me an opportunity? I want to define blasphemy according to my own words. So blasphemy is there only in the Abrahamic faith, the concept of blasphemy. There is no such thing in any other faiths like Hinduism, Buddhism, and all these things. See, in India, for example, where I come from, you can build temples, mosques, whatever you want. You just ask for permission. And as long as your building codes and everything work, and you make sure that it won't create problems for society around here, they give you the same right to build a mosque as much as the right to build a temple or a church or everything. Everything given the same rights. We don't have any biases against anybody. But this blasphemy comes into picture when one religion says anything you say that is not true in my religion makes you a bad person. For some reason, anything I say that is not according to their religion. For example, this concept of a man trying to be better than God is something that is against their religion. Therefore, I'm a bad person. Why I'm being a bad person, I don't know. But the problem is, I tell you why I'm a bad person. Because some people just want to be lazy. They just want to do the bare minimal things and use religion like a crutch only, like a walking stick. While some people don't want to use that walking stick as I got 2 legs, man, I'm perfect. I don't need this religion to prove to myself I'm moral. I don't need it. Throw away the stick. I know I am moral because I know I am moral. I don't need your religion to certify, say, oh, you did this, you did that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. So if I am moral, not moral, I don't need those judgments. I know to myself I'm moral. I don't need that stick. When a man walks tall, he's spiritual, and the religious people don't like him because he's walking without a stick that they need. It makes them feel inferior, so they call him bad, just to make themselves feel better like little children. That's what is happening.
Yeah, Josh.
That's blasphemy.
Let's go to Josh. Then I want to hear from No Love Drew. He hasn't commented since he's been back. Or are you working, No Love? Just listening?
No, I'm back.
Okay. I definitely want to get you an interview as well on the YouTube. So I don't know if you're doing anything tonight, but anybody who wants to come over tonight, we're going to have an open panel over there as well. Again,
cool.
Go subscribe on the YouTube, Titans Debate League on YouTube. Go ahead, Josh.
What up, No Love?
Unconditional love. I heard you say that because of blasphemy, you're a bad person. Is that what you said?
Why was Jesus crucified if not for blasphemy?
Okay.
Short answer, please.
Jesus was crucified for being Jesus was crucified for being a false prophet by the very people he came to save. That's what he was.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Unconditional love. You said that every single religion you pick and choose from each one, right?
That is your freedom of choice. You should check everyone and pick the one that suits you best. Instead of saying, I'm only going to check Christianity, I'm not going to read anything else, and I'm going to decide Christianity is the best religion, and Jesus is my savior. How does it even help you?
But can I ask you, in order for you to know the truth based on all these religions, you have to have some type of higher, kind of sight for truth. So where do you ground your truth from?
See, initially I used to be an atheist. I used to believe we were created by aliens. That's what I used to believe. And when everybody said aliens created us, that's what I believe. And I used to watch all the sci-fi serials, Star Trek, Star Wars, the Stargate, this, that, everything sci-fi I used to watch on TV. And believe all of that. And believe I get my ideas from them. And till God slapped me in my face one day and brought me back to my senses. It happened to me.
It was so when you say God slapped you in the face, what can you give more detail into that, please?
Well, I had some addictions.
Okay.
And immediately, it's like a snap of a finger, those addictions left me without me having to take any efforts.
And did you feel any conviction or anything?
I suddenly
like that?
felt that what I was doing was wrong. I said morally wrong, and I stopped doing it.
And you felt so in a way you felt like condemned.
Not condemned. I just felt morally it's not the right thing to do. I think I was not doing the right thing. Therefore, I should not do certain things I was doing, and I stopped doing those things. That's it.
And you believe God gave you that power?
God gave me the power because it happened in an instant. It's not happening over time. If it happened over months, weeks, you can understand. You know, quitting cigarettes, for example, somebody like they'll take some time to quit cigarettes.
Yeah. Amen to that. I mean, that's beautiful that you stopped doing your addictions.
Amen.
Because God gave you that power. You know what I'm saying? That's honestly a beautiful thing.
But then I'm going to tell you some very dark things, very, very dark things also happened. The dark things that happened is that I started believing I was Jesus for some time. I started believing I was Jesus because of all this power. And I thought God blessed me with some great thing and Jesus and this and that. I started believing all of that. Then one day, God came and told me clearly, you are not Jesus, you are evil. You are the other guy, Lucifer. You are not Jesus, you are Lucifer.
And so how did God tell you that, if you don't mind me asking?
He told me in a dream. My wife was there right next to me. I woke up and I told my wife that God told me this. My wife is like, what is happening to you? Oh my God.
After this,
And
can I
so did
ask
you
Abu
believe that?
Wahad a question after this?
And then I started believing in Lucifer, and God said, don't worry, Lucifer is better than Jesus. And I'm like, how? You will live your life and find out.
So you believe God told you that?
God told me that Lucifer is better than Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, he likes Lucifer more than Jesus.
Okay.
And let's see, the point is very simple. He told me that the Bible has an idea that Lucifer poisoned Adam's mind in order to sin. That's not the reason. Lucifer wanted Adam to become God. God wants Adam to become God. That's why Lucifer is here, to help you all become gods.
So you believe Lucifer is here to help us all become gods?
Yes.
So I believe that the enemy has gotten you totally messed up. But
No,
Are
you
you
are
a
all going to
Luciferian?
become gods.
So are you
That's
a
your destiny.
Luciferian? Are you
I'm
a
sorry.
Luciferian? Are you a
No, I am a believer in God who
But who is
wants
your God?
me
Like
to
I
make all
asked
of
you
you
again.
gods.
I asked you in the beginning, who was your God? You told me your
See,
God was God.
see,
Now you're telling
I
me
got
Lucifer
guidance
is
from
God.
many gods. I got guidance from the Christian God called Yahweh. I got guidance from the Indian God called Krishna. I got guidance from the Buddhist God called Buddha. I got guidance from many gods.
So in your mind, you had to go to all these different gods just to make it feel normal.
Many paths.
They all
Okay,
make
so
sense.
in my
That's a
opinion,
thesis.
I feel like so your God to you, because you just said that a little bit ago. God is Lucifer, right? That
No,
God.
no, no.
served in the military for 10 years before I went back to school, right? Obviously, there's a lot of immoral stuff that happens while you're in the military, and you got to make tough choices. And so while I was over there, I was reading books by like people like African philosophers like Achille Mbembe. I've always been a reader. I've always been reading. So anytime that I get scared, I feel inspired by people who themselves felt. It's kind of like when I feel inspired by people to reference all the people who have also felt that they were unsure. And then I find solace in the stories of the people who've that kind of aligns you back with humanity, right? Because like if you individual within your own fear, within your own anxieties, right, you're always going to do the thing that's going to make you feel comfortable. You're always going to kind of back to like the lowest common denominator of the environment around. But for me, when I reference history, these people's stories, okay, there is a legacy of overcoming. There's a community that will benefit from it or not. That's one thing. I know throughout history that if I align myself back with these people, survival, which is treating each other with respect, which is like trying to find justice in a way, right? That's meditation. That's moral alignment to me. If that makes any sense.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious.
So
go ahead.
Can we like indulge in, since we brought up Lucifer and we're bringing up morality, how, for one, you don't find it detrimental to you to go to a god or some type of creator before an argument, and you call me and I call you an asshole? The words that come out of your mouth, your breath for internalizes that you're actually calling you an asshole. The words that come out of your mouth right now, other being beside yourself, and you tear that accountability for your own actions, you have to give that to some other deity. It's been proven. You unalive your own brain cells. You cause a, and you have to give that to some other deity. I see it, but as you get older, it shines through. It has been credit to a creator that had nothing to do with your accomplishments. Not a creator. You save yourself. Nobody comes and saves you. You run your own life. You run your own life. Now, either you can either go with our incredible or amazing, and to correct yourself, fix things about yourself that you can fix, and learn to live with things that you don't have the willpower.
Yes.
It took me 5 years. It took me 5 years to deconstruct.
It's kind of, to me, like a straw man of the position, because.
But how that you cause detrimental damage to your own self.
Okay.
You give credit to something that.
Yeah, okay. But we don't, for example, based on morality, we get our morality.
But God has a horrible morality.
Why do you say he has a horrible morality?
We attribute our success without God, but we don't negate it.
That's why
you
we
can't
will
accomplish anything without God.
No, well, I mean, in reality, you can't wake up without God. Do you see what I'm saying? I look at it though.
But that's, I mean, and then everybody in Genesis say, let's make man in our
image.
right. So is there a God or is there gods with it? Is it single or plural?
What he's trying to bring?
No, I'm saying that Genesis said, let us make man in our, and it say my, it said our image. So if our meaning that there's a plural, meaning there's more than one, what God are we really talking about?
It's called a royal we. So God is not defined. Well, in some places he does, but he says our, he says we. It's just a royal we. Something similar to how they'll say the same thing.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Before this book ever surfaced on planet Earth, were they not also?
They were.
They were, what is the Coley people of North America? Before this book ever America that was here with 2000, these people never heard of this Hebrew Abrahamic faith. Are we to believe that none knew a God?
That's one of my position, first of all. But from my position,
so you're a spiritual?
I'm a Muslim.
Okay, so Allah.
Yes, sir. But basically, we believe if they were practicing idolatry, we associate. We believe from the first man, which is Adam. Islam, which is basically the core of any theistic faith. Believe that anybody who worships submits to him alone. Then yes, you are worshiping God.
Hold on, so back to my point. You said that we believe anyone that is the true believers. So, for reference, all the cultures that believe God existed, did they not believe in God?
It depends on which cultures. Cultures are
okay, so every culture, how they survive. Unity, laws. You can't kill. I mean, you can't steal. You can't do any transgression because we know that doesn't feel right. Now, some people. That is why they still exist, and so these laws. Out in the term called the 42 negative confessions, and those apply. So cultures have always had these, and the Hebrew people got that people think interestingly not true because God existed before any of these guys. Everyone has had a God, is my point. So God, right?
Law. Can I extrapolate on that real quick?
Go ahead.
Yes. Better way ask you to. Society or religion that is correct. People who didn't believe in your God come to the same conclusions about the world. People who
laws, because every same laws. You can't unallow people. Can't, right? So the language you speak, what country you live in, they exist. Always.
Argument for morality with God. Exactly who